Hi, this is Kevin Croak, head coach at UCD Rugby Club. In this series of interviews, in conjunction with club sponsor Crow, we talk to past and present players who share their memories of the club and how it has impacted their career both on and off the field. In this interview, we catch up with Ev Fenlon. She tells us about her experiences coming from a developmental side in Enniscorthy up to UCD, taking some of the skills and drills she's learned back home to Enniscorthy, and the relationships that she's developed on and off pitch. You might give us a bit of an idea of your background and experience in rugby and some of your experiences through rugby in UCD.
So I started playing rugby when I was 15 with Enniscorthy. I was more or less started as like a way to keep fit for camogie football in the summertime. And I suppose once I started, I was pretty much hooked. I kind of gave up camogie football not long after that. Um, but Enniscorthy was only starting out; it was their first underage girls team. So I really got the full package with starting out. The whole club was really just starting out. I was 15 to 18 then, was with solely with Enniscorthy, and it kind of overlapped then. I was finishing out my final year underage when I started in UCD. So that was a bit of an experience getting the kind of what senior rugby was like with UCD, and playing with and against some big talent, and then going home at the weekends and playing matches with 16, 17 year olds. And I was the only person on the pitch, I suppose, that was getting that experience. So that was a real eye opener to what I was signing myself up for playing senior rugby.
What were your initial experiences of playing and training in UCD?
But I suppose it was the first thing I did when I got to UCD was find out when we could start training, when we could start playing. It was pretty much the first thing I did was suss out when and where the rugby team would be. It was kind of, I was very passionate about it then. I was playing for 3 years at that stage. Um, it was definitely a big help to be able to bring home some of the training strategies that we were using, not so much to use with the team, but we were only developing team at the time. Like, we'd only been established for 3 years. And I suppose having such talented coaching staff as well, and in UCD, and having there was people from the Leinster branch coming in to do scrum training with us and line out drills, and it was really helpful to be able to bring that back to my club and be able to give pointers here and there. And I suppose it made me want to be a better player, because I'd come, there were some girls who, like, I was playing with, who had played with Leinster and, were looking at playing with Ireland at some stage. And here was me coming from a little developing club, never seen anyone as good as this before. I suppose it was really a driver for me to push on and try and do better and be better at rugby.
The girls' rugby and women's sport in general tends to be a little bit more open in helping each other to develop. Um, how did you find the older girls within the rugby team helped you to improve or develop in that first year?
I think they were absolutely essential to helping me develop, because, like, when I was playing at home, I suppose you didn't really have a set position. Whatever position was there. I think we only had 15 players for my last year playing under 18s. So, like, it wasn't like you were competing for places. So then when you come to college and you might have 60 to 80 people fighting for 15 positions on the team, it really gives you that extra push. And the older girls were so helpful in, like, little things. It really helped develop, like, leadership skills, because once you've overcome your first year at UCD, you're the one that wants to help bring on younger girls come up again. You see yourself in all the young ones coming up. Like, especially me, who was playing underage when I was in first year. A lot of the girls who were coming up then when I was in, say, second, third, and fourth year, would have been girls I would have played against or done trials with over the years. So it was great to be able to transition from, like, enemies on the pitch to seeing these girls coming up and getting relationships developing from that. Like, I thought that was brilliant.
What are the couple of things that you did over your years in UCD that helped the group come together, particularly when there's a lot of new members into the group each year?
I definitely think getting everyone involved in training, like, especially in the last couple of years when we have, like, the senior squad and the junior team playing at the same time, it's very easy to have, like, a strict divide between that. So I think, like, having social events and even just incorporating everyone into training, like, a lot of the time you will be split between, say, forwards and backs training, but it shouldn't be forwards senior training, forwards, the junior team training. Like, everyone should be together, and I think that really helps, because if not, you're not going to be able to gel with the whole club. And there should be the whole club playing everyone else, not everyone fighting between each other, or, like, having it like a brick wall being, oh, she's a senior player, oh, she's a junior player. if that makes sense. I suppose like the social nights were like essential for that, because with so many people over the last couple of years coming into the club, I think first night training back last year, I think there could have been 100 people on the pitch. You know, it can be very overwhelming. So I think having like even just one smiling face coming over and introducing themselves makes the world of a difference, especially coming from, you know, if you see like myself coming into the club, I was lucky we weren't as big when I came in first year. Whereas now, like, it can be very daunting coming into a big group like that and being, Jesus, you know, what am I after signing myself up for? Will I stick at it? But I suppose like having the older girls there and everyone's been so nice and so welcoming, and then the nights out and you get, you know, a bit more relaxed in it. I think that's kind of key to the gelling, and like the gel in general, like if your team isn't going to gel off the pitch, then you haven't a hope of progressing on the pitch.
Keeping everybody included, getting everybody up to speed, that's all geared towards winning, which definitely helps with bringing people together. Sometimes losing does too, but winning is important. Is there one game that stands out for you from your time in UCD as a special performance or a special win?
I suppose like we have won a lot over the last couple of years, but it wouldn't even be winning in general. Like I think having, you know, the support behind you when you lose as well is also so important. Like when I was in first year in UCD, I think we won one match, and I think we drew one match, and we lost everything else. So like it just comes to show like how far we've come in like the last 4 years that I've been playing. But definitely like any of the colours matches, there's always like the extra added bit of sweetness, I suppose, to beating Trinity in the colours game. And I think College Park, we played in College Park when I was in second year, and I only came off the bench in the second half, I think, and just the atmosphere there. You know, there were so many people that travelled out from UCD and so many people from Trinity there as well. Just I think that was probably one of the highlights of my career in UCD anyway, was winning colours. I suppose I've never actually lost colours yet, so that's also a big help.
What are the couple of things the women's club do to help new players get up to speed with how to play rugby?
I suppose it's so essential to get the basics down, and I definitely lacked a lot of the basics when I came to UCD, just because we had started at rugby so quickly. I suppose like there was 15 of us at home had started up and just gotten straight involved. So I think I spent a lot of time learning from the newbies who were just learning how to get the basics down, I suppose. But definitely taking it slowly, you know, like getting, like I said, like getting all of your basics flattened out first and knowing what you're getting in for. But I think there's nothing as good as getting the game time, especially for the newbies. Like tackling each other and tackling bags, it can only bring you so far, and you're afraid you're going to hurt yourself. But like first 5 minutes of your first game, you make your first tackle and you realize, Jesus, this isn't actually sore at all. You know, and I think that was a lot of girls that come in to play rugby don't, or like think that you need to be so aggressive to play, whereas like I wouldn't consider myself an aggressive person at all, and rugby is one of the best things in my life at the minute, like, you know. But I think getting newbies involved and getting a good mix of experience and new players in, say, your first couple of games is essential, because, you know, there's so many rules and laws in rugby, and like I still don't know them all. So it's nice to have someone beside you, especially like like line speed and breaking the line, but, you know, staying on side. Like those are the things that you mightn't pick up on in training straight away, but like your first game, having an experienced person beside you, being, you know, take a step back there, you know, hold your position. I think having someone beside you that you can look to for advice, you're never going to get given out to for, you know, giving a knock on or being offside here and there, because everyone does it, I suppose. And just not being afraid to ask the person next to you for advice, and that's so incorporated with like the gelling of the team as well. You can't be afraid of the people that you're playing with. I suppose that the women's team did a lot of that, especially like from social nights as well. Just getting players to know each other. Like no one's going to H it on the pitch, no one's going to H it off the pitch. Like just don't be afraid.
Was there any experience or event or coach who helped you to develop your game while you were in UCD?
I think a lot of my development as a player in UCD came in my first year, and Jeff Sheehan was coaching us at the time. And I think just his, you know, he was so relaxed in training, you could never do anything wrong. And I think it really encouraged me to kind of step up, you know, like especially if you were playing games with a lot of newbies, like someone needed to step up and take a leadership role. It doesn't have to be the captain the whole time. It just has to be someone who's willing to, you know, stand there and use their voice. And I think that was a lot for me coming from like a little small club, thinking that I wouldn't have any say playing with all these, players who would come from bigger clubs and girls who have been playing in the club in UCD for years. So I think that just having a coach have that confidence in your skills really helped build your own confidence as a player, and on and off the pitch. Like, there's a lot of stuff in rugby that you will take off the pitch, and I think having that confidence in yourself really, really helped.
One of the really social and relationship forging experiences within rugby and within university rugby is going on tour. Maybe you could give us some of your experiences from touring with UCD.
I suppose I was lucky. I got 2 tours in my time, Edinburgh in 2018 and then Madrid just before lockdown hit, luckily. But I think my favourite memory from being on tour would actually be Edinburgh in 2018. I remember being on the pitch in the match and just this real boggy slop of a pitch. You couldn't drop kick the ball, it just sticks standing up. And I remember looking around, and it just would bring you back to when you were playing underage, like for me anyway, playing underage, and getting the worst pitches when you travelled around the country, because there might be an under 12 boys game onto the main pitch later on in the day. Like, we didn't start out playing rugby to play on these 4G pitches, the best of the best. Like, we started out because we loved the sport. And I suppose, getting a try from sliding from the 22 across the try line, like, you'd really enjoy that. And that's why you started playing in the first place. So I think going on tour and, playing just the gelling of the team on tour, especially, like, because there's not that many get the opportunity to go. And those of us that did get to go are very lucky. But I think it really helps the team bond. And we, like, from Edinburgh 2018, like, our skills definitely improved from coming back from it.